everyone, welcome to Readings with Sam. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel so you can stay updated on all the amazing messages that are coming through for all of you. Whenever you're hearing this is when you needed it most. So even though I do daily readings, if you're watching this tomorrow, a week from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, you are ready to receive the message that is here for you today in this moment. These are also collective readings, so I'm reading for everyone collectively who is watching this video, so that's why I give a lot of different interpretations. Now, there may be some videos where every single thing I say totally hits, and there may be some videos where only one thing I say makes sense and everything else is kind of like, I don't know how this applies. And that is totally okay. Use your own intuition, use your own discernment. Always, always, always practice trusting yourself and trusting what's really coming up for you in particular, because this is just to help guide you to the highest alignment of yourself. So with all that being said, let's jump into the reading today. Today, the reading is for Monday, July 18th, 2022. The moon right now is waning. This is after the full moon. Things are starting to settle down, wrap things up, complete things. This is before the third quarter though, so be mindful that things may still be unveiling themselves, still revealing itself, or probably at this point, things are starting to make sense and things are starting to click and really settle. So today is kind of fun because, as all of you know, I primarily read cards, oracle and tarot both. Sometimes I also read runes, and very rarely I practice Cleromancey. Cleromancey is basically the casting of lots or casting of really anything and seeing your divine messages through those things. So I guess the best example that you would probably see today are readings like bone readings. So this is really interesting that it's coming out today because yesterday we were talking about really learning how to follow your own intuition and really trusting yourself and trusting divine messages. And this type of divination, as you can see, it's very personal to me. I picked this bag, I put all of the crystals in here that I wanted, there's some trinkets in here that I found, and because I created this set of objects, there's no guidebook, there's no thing I can go online and be like, what does this mean when I pull this out and it comes up in this way, you know? And even though I love how many guidebooks and how many resources there are, it's all so amazing. Even me doing this and all the amazing other readers who do this and astrologers and all this, it's all so good. But sometimes we really need to make sure that we are also following our own intuitive messages that are coming up. For example, with tarot cards, there's so many billion meanings for everyone. And the hangman may mean one thing universally, sure, but for one reader it may really mean one thing, and for another it may mean something totally different. And for you, it may mean something very, very specific, right? So when this form of divination comes out, I really see it as a time to really, really trust yourself and what it really, really means to you without anyone outside of you having to tell you. Which is also really funny because this is a reading for me that is not you to tell you what's going on in your life. So with this reading in particular, I really am encouraging you to go with your first instinct. I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna pull out stuff, but for this one, I'm gonna stay silent for a second just for you to take in the object that I took out and just look at it and just see what it means for you. And then I'll go into a little interpretation. So let's go into it. Okay, so if you just skip to this part of the video, this is very different from what I usually do, but when this comes out, it means that it's time for you to really listen to what specific messages mean for you as an individual, specifically coming from your own intuition without anyone externally telling you anything. So I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm just going to hold up and tell you what the object is, and I'm going to stay silent, and you write down or just take note of anything that's coming up for you naturally first. And even if, and you may even get a nudge to just walk away from this whole video after I just show you what this is. And if that's your nudge, follow that, because then this video is really, really for you to just trust whatever's coming up for you. And of course, after I stay silent for a little bit, I'll go into my personal interpretations on what this may mean for you. And yeah. So, the energy overall today is represented by the crystal Citrine. And your advice today is a wood chip. Okay. So you may want to end the video right now if you got your messages already, or you're just getting a really strong urge that you just don't want to hear any of my interpretations. Or you may get a really, really strong urge to be like, okay, so what does Citrine mean? So I'm going to go into my interpretations of it, and always, always, always listen to your own intuition, especially with this particular reading. I am so close to just being like, I'm not going to give y'all any interpretation, you just have to live with it. I'm kidding, but I'm not. So the overall energy today is represented by Citrine. First off, if you have any Citrine in your life already, if you're already working with Citrine, this is a great day to work with it. Citrine is very much an abundance stone. It attracts abundance. It attracts money. It attracts wealth and prosperity. So it's very much a stone used when you're really working on solar plexus stuff, self-worth, your own inner power, attraction, manifestation, actually actualizing things in your waking life. Vitality, health, a lot of like sunshine energy. It's very similar to the energy from Saturday if you watch that video. Yeah, it's really, today is really about living in your light, really stepping into that light, really stepping into your own success, really being that beacon and that magnet for goodness, and really allowing yourself to truly shine and not be afraid to shine and not really be afraid to take up space. And know that the more that you shine and the more that you take up space and the bigger you become as a soul, that it only allows for other people to do the same. It does not take away from anyone. If you're bigger, it doesn't automatically make someone smaller. No, 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 no. If you shine your light, it doesn't mean it dims anybody else's. No. If you shine your light, it just shines everybody else. It's like a disco ball. It's more like a disco ball. It's like if you shine your light, then other people can too, right? So that's a really big message for today. Just overall is just know that that energy is really flowing into your life, you know? And to really tap into that. And this has been a few different messages coming up pretty close back to back of shining your light, living in that celebration mode. And if you're really just not feeling that, then this is the time to really step out of that, really do the work to step into the light. Because sometimes we get so wrapped up in trying to banish the shadow, and shadow will naturally dissipate when you open the window and bring in the light, right? So you don't have to fight your shadow. You just have to let the light in and the shadow naturally becomes smaller, right? So going into advice is a wood chip. Now, a wood chip is, like, you probably will find all kinds of different healings and all these kinds of things online for Citrine. And I'm also not telling you not to look it up. If you're being, like, I'm just saying, like, try to see if it means something special for you. Like, for example, if, like, maybe your grandmother really loves Citrine, or maybe you found a piece of Citrine randomly like a few days ago, or maybe for some reason like you're meeting a friend later and they have like a Citrine necklace. It's like see what it means for you, right? But of course, always, like, if you are just like curious and you're like, well, I want to see what some Citrine healing is like, then yeah, go Google Citrine. Now the wood chip is something I put into my little personal bag myself. When we look at a wood chip, what is a wood chip? A wood chip is used to increase the nutrients of soil over time, if you're into gardening and into plants and stuff like that. And it also helps with allowing there to be enough moisture in the soil, and just really helps there to be a proper climate in the soil for the nutrients to be there so the seeds can properly grow and really nourish from the root up your plants. These wood chips really create a really nice container, right? And also in particular, it decomposes over time, allowing the nutrients to enter into the soil over time. And I feel like this is really an important message to give out, especially again with all the messages coming through right now, especially if you watch the one from Friday, and especially if you also have been working on the spiritual path for a while. You may already be aware that when we take in way too much of high vibrational energy, like citrine energy, or too much sun, or too much good vibes, or too much high vibes, it can really just shoot your nervous system out of the stratosphere, and you end up just super fried and like kind of jittery and like all over the place and like and also, I mean, you end up burnt out. So with the advice, it's kind of telling you, yes, the overall energies right now is citrine. The overall energies right now are abundant in sunshine energy, and we're radiant and everything, and we're powerful, and yes, it's so good. But this is new. We're stepping into a new level of this. And with new things, even though it's so good and so amazing, you don't want to get burned, and you don't want to burn yourself out. And you don't want to do too much too fast. You don't want to let in all these things too much too fast. So also with wood chip energy, it creates this container, right? For all the nutrients and for all this juicy, amazing soil. So it's also advising you create a container for yourself. Again, this is new energy that you're integrating. This is all energy that you may not be used to. You may not be used to being in a good place. You may not be used to living in your power. You may not be used to actualizing your manifestations. You may not be used to an influx of a lot of good things coming in at once. It may just be weird. And this is why we do need to take our time and really be sure that we're surrounded by people that really love us, that really can hold our energy properly. So it really makes me think of Sangha in Buddhism. Sangha is having a community of like-minded people. And it's not telling you to get rid of the people that aren't like-minded, but when you're entering into newness and even you're a little bit uncomfortable with it, we need a container. We need that community around us to be like, hey, yes, like live in your power. Like, oh my God, get it. Like, you're doing amazing, and like encouraging us and telling us that it's okay. Because sometimes when we do choose to live in our own power and we do choose to step into abundant mindset, abundance frequency, abundance reality, other people can get very threatened, and they can say things to us that can really hurt that new little inner baby and that inner seed and that inner child. Again, with this wood chip, I'm getting this feeling of, again, like it's the soil, it's the nutrients, it's the cocoon around the sweet little seed that's just sprouting, and that's gonna become this huge, massive tree that's like, not that, like, no matter what, like it's gonna take a while to take it down. But right now, it's just little seed. And that's you. Right now, you're a fragile little seed, and you're just sprouting. Like, you're just sprouting. So let yourself have that container. Let yourself have that safety, and let yourself step into it slowly. You don't have to do the most right now. You don't have to go through this intense upheaval right now. It can be a process. I see it very similar also to like working out. Like, when you, like, if you haven't worked out in years and finally you're like, okay, I'm gonna do it, you're gonna be so sore if you go really freaking hard the first day. Oh my God. You know, you need to ease into it a little bit. You need to ease into it. It's like, have y'all ever done those juice cleanses? You know, and you're like, you've never done a cleanse in your life, and you're like, yeah, I could not eat for 7 days and just drink juice, and then you do it, and then on day 1, after 6 hours, you're like, oh my God. You know, it's kind of that. It's like, you don't got to do that, and that may actually hurt you. I'm also feeling Joan of Arc energy. Specifically the fact that even though Joan of Arc was amazing and was so influential, she let in too much light too fast and unfortunately ended up being martyred. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but you know, this is also why doing too much spirit work too fast and too much can really bite you in the butt. We need to be ready to integrate this high vibrational energy. We need to eat it slowly. We need to consume it slowly. And I know that some people, including my past self, has been like, I hear you, but like, nah, I can handle it. And then we end up having these like intense upheavals and emotional breakdowns and psychological breakdowns and everything's going to hell and we're like, oh my God, what the hell? And then, you know, we have a crying fit for 3 days and then we're like, oh my God, it was just the divine feminine like helping me out. Yeah, that's the reason why it's just more beneficial to integrate high vibrational energy slowly. It's not that it is like bad, but it just may be a little bit more chaotic than it needs to be. And I feel like I need to hear that like 4 more times. Because, God, you know how I am. So again, with today, and in particularly these energies, trust what came up for you first. And if anything really, really resonated that I said, take that too. And just overall, remember that, yeah, you're stepping into a new you. You're stepping into this new vibration of self. You're stepping into that. And just know that right now you're just a little seed. You're a sweet little seed that's just sprouting. So allow for that container. Really protect yourself. Keep yourself safe in your sangha and your community that really, really supports you. Just because this new self isn't fully actualized yet, so you also don't feel fully comfortable in this new self, but it's here and it's so good and everything will be amazing. But just remember, go slow. Take your time, live in it, protect yourself, treat yourself like a sweet little baby or a sweet little seed. And I hope you all have a beautiful Monday, and I will see you all tomorrow.